Good morning, everyone. Here, Ed Kirk, President and founder of Go4Broke. Now, I'm here with David Heatley. Now, one of the questions we always get asked when we start our registrations for Go4Broke is, how should I train? What are the things? What's going to help me get there with the least amount of effort possible? And this year, we're happy to announce that obviously we're working with David Heatley and Cycling in Form to take all the guesswork out of what you need to do. So we're going to be producing I should say, David's going to be producing a 10-week program for all Go for Broke riders. That will be available on our website and will be sent out to all registered riders at the end of this week. So look, I'm delighted to introduce David. David is an accredited level 2 cycling coach who has been coaching since 2007. Specializes in helping riders of all levels, including myself, over the years. And I'm glad to say, actually, I did a sub 10 on Three Peaks with his guidance a few years ago, having done now my 10th Peaks last year. But anyway, David, look, you've done this, you know this back to front. What's the course about, and how do riders approach it?
Yeah, all right. Well, obviously it's a big event, lots of kilometers. So endurance is going to be really important for this event. A lot of cyclists tend to focus on speed work. They kind of smash out a pretty hard hour-long session and
Oh, been
they,
there.
yep, and thinking that and don't get me wrong, speed's obviously very important, and doing hard indoor trainer sessions for an hour can certainly help, or even, your local bunch rides and stuff like that. But we still need to build endurance. We still need to spend a bit of time on the bike. You want to make sure that when you get sort of 3, 4 hours into the event, you're not feeling like you need to hang up your, bike and take up lawn bowls because it's just all too
Mm.
hard. So generally when I'm working with cyclists on an event like this, we want to work on the endurance first and then work on the speed. No sense in working on speed if you can't actually, compete
Yeah,
complete the event.
that's right. Slight problem.
So it's like problem. But that being said, like I mentioned, speed work is still important, but it's critical that we do spend a bit of time on the bike. So the program I put together is just really a quick start. It's a 10-week program. It's got a progressive build in it. You'll see we basically work through week 1, week through week 3, week 4, and then we have a recovery week on week 5. Normally, I'd have a recovery week a little bit earlier, but because of the way that this program's put together, we've got the recovery week on week 5, and then we've got a taper in week 9 leading into the event in week 10. So I've in the program, I haven't specified vertical meters. A lot of people kind of get caught up in that, but do as many vertical meters as the terrain that you've got available to you
Mm.
um, presents itself. So if you don't have much in the way of vertical meters around your area, then, spend a little bit of time riding in a gear or two harder. Don't spend the entire ride doing that though, but do ride a couple of gears harder if you're in a flat terrain area. But if you've got access to good
Yeah,
hills
like
around the area,
we're
yeah,
around the northern side of Sydney, so we've got all
yeah,
the gorges around
yeah,
here, so they're
yeah,
all like 200-meter climbs. We're lucky
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, lucky, and we're in Adelaide, so we've got some fantastic climbs as well. So use what you've got available to you around vertical meters on those hill rides that I've specified that. In the recovery weeks, we do easy rides, and it's important that you do easy in the recovery weeks because it's in the recovery that the adaptation happens. So training loads the stimulus, and the recovery is where, we actually get the adaptation actually happening. So be mindful of that you don't want to go hard all the time. The other thing, it's very important to be consistent with your training. So it's much better to get consistent with your training and build on that consistency. If you're not consistent with your training, then you can't really build or develop fitness long term. So it's important to just keep that consistency going. The program itself, we're looking sort of 7 to 10 hours. I've kind of capped it around that, and it's really an entry level, obviously, for people that are more seasoned riders, so they'll be able to do more volume than this training program prescribes.
Mm.
So, I mean, obviously, it's a standard program to get you to the event, and have a good ride. But it's obviously if you want to do a PB or something like that on the event, then obviously more volume and some more specific things around indoor trainer sessions and those sort of things, or stuff out on the road are really important.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'll be probably ringing you up at some point as we get closer to the event because, as you know, David, I'm coming off the back of illness, and
yes.
I've just started getting on the indoor to get everything back
Oh,
working again.
fantastic.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm going to be in the hurt locker there for a while. But as I said, one of the benefits of Go for Broke is that we do have those seven speed groups. So
yeah,
up to a week, we actually allow riders to sort of move around in those groups. So if they're feeling really strong, they can go sort of, towards 30 Ks an hour, if they're
yeah.
expected average, down to as low as 20 as an average. So we cater for everyone. But I'm not sure if we're aware, David, but the event is modeled along a handicap event.
Oh,
So,
very good. Yeah,
so there's actually about a 3 hour difference between our first and
really.
last
Wow,
groups, and it's
fantastic.
amazing. We've had the fastest group win, and we've had the slowest group win over the years. So it just depends. So yeah, it makes it a little bit competitive for an event which is not a race.
It's
I'll
not a
just
race.
reiterate that. It's not
Not a
it's never
race.
a race.
Never a race. Of
Anyway,
course not.
so look, we'll
Of
try
course
and
not.
keep this short.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't want to talk too long. But
yeah.
what are the three main training tips that you would advise to people? I think you've mentioned one already, and that's
Yeah.
the don't miss. Try not to miss sessions.
Yeah, look, try not to miss sessions, but look, if you do, don't try and catch up the following week. Like once a week's done, it's done. You just focus on, the program for this week. So just do the best you can around consistency. Um, and most of the riding should be done, fairly easy, sort of tempo or less than that. Certainly mix it up with your intensities, go a bit harder on the hills.
Mm,
But certainly do add in some recovery rides during the week. So generally Tuesdays and Thursdays we're doing more sort of tempo stuff. Wednesdays a little bit more recovery. Friday's rest day. Monday's rest day. Focus on body maintenance, stretching, those sort of things. A little bit of weight training is always beneficial, and walking is fantastic. And then in the weekends do as much volume as you can. But
yeah.
you don't necessarily need to go hard.
Mm,
Yeah, so, and obviously, one of the other things, so there's actually a couple of other tips around eating and drinking, and I'm going to add another one
awesome.
around that is, so making sure you're fueling, but also do ride through some of the conditions that you might experience on the ride. It might be hot or it might be wet, might be
Mm,
windy. So, and you'll be riding in bunches. So, those are sort of things that you want to be working towards in the training that you're doing if you're not experienced in those sort of areas, because you don't really know what's going to happen on the day. It could be wet, it could be sunny, it
correct.
could be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just around the fueling and stuff, generally the guidelines is like 30 to 60 grams of carbohydrate an hour.
Mm,
You want to fuel properly for the longer rides. Anything less than 2 hours, you don't have to worry too much about your fueling because you've got enough glycogen available to you.
yeah.
So yeah, yep,
Yeah, and on Go for Broke, it's a boutique ride in that apart from the initial 50 Ks when you get on the bike at the start, we then cater for all the riders, and that includes winners gels,
yeah,
chews,
yeah,
hydration from them as well. Plus, we put lunch on, so there's plenty of opportunity to keep fueled on this event.
fantastic. And look, I'm a big fan of not, experimenting on ride day.
No, no,
So
no,
so
no, don't do that.
yeah, so if you do get access to those sort of products, the winners bars and the gels and stuff,
Mm.
then certainly eat those as part of your training regime, so you're used to those products. Who's doing your hydration for the event?
Actually, winners now do hydration as well.
Oh,
So
when it's
winners,
going to, yeah, yep. So, those products, I'm sure they'll be on the website and stuff. So, certainly if they're available, I think they're available from local supermarkets and those sort of things. So,
yeah,
get,
they are, especially around in Sydney.
yeah.
Um,
So,
so
yep,
look, um, just to sort of wrap up. So this will be a 10-week program, which is this coming Saturday.
yep,
So look, we'll make it easily available for all the riders. I know there's a lot of riders out there that haven't registered yet, so we'll make it easily available. Obviously, that the program is for Go for Broke, so we might even end up putting it up with this link later in the week when it's all ready. But otherwise. The other thing we wanted to do is, David, given that this is now a new relationship that you've got with Go for Broke, and obviously, unfortunately, we couldn't do Vic 100 this year
no,
due to circumstances out of our control. But we obviously will have you involved in that next year. But one of the things, look, I think between you and me, David, possibly 6 weeks or a month out. We'll do an online session if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Get people to come online. We'll obviously give everyone notice of that, and even if you haven't registered yet, you can obviously get in on that. But look, just the only other thing is obviously just to finish. Obviously, if people, as I've used you
Mm.
a few times over the years, how do people, if they want a more boutique or they want specialist advice, what should they do, David?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I do a lot of customization around my training and a lot of performance management and monitoring of training load and those sort of things, which are critical for events like this, and even other events as well. So the best way to get hold of me is just to jump on my website and fill out one of our contact us forms. Send an email through to me, and then I'll get back to you usually within a day or two. We can have a bit of a chat about what you want to do and what your goals are for the year, and then all this event. And yeah, I provide a full on custom coaching program, regular calls, and those sort of things for those clients that want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, David, once again, thank you for helping us out this year and all our riders. As I said, I've used you a few times over the years with results to speak
Yes.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it's always been consistency is my biggest problem. Life gets in the way, illness gets in the way, or injury gets in the way, especially the more mature we all get.
Mm.
But otherwise, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Obviously, everyone will have a chance to speak to you again when we have that special session. But
Yeah.
otherwise, guys, as I said, if you're looking for any richer information or want to sort of delve how far you can go on a more personal basis, reach out to David. Go to his website. His details are on the links below. Otherwise, David, thank you, and otherwise, have a good day, everyone, and see you soon. And see you on the
Fantastic.
start line, more to the point, on the 19th of September.
Excellent. Thanks, Ed.
Okay, all the best.